What up, Raider Nation? Thanks for joining us here at the Raider Lounge. This is episode 5. I'm your co-host, JB. We have some bad news. My co-host, Phil, was abducted by aliens 2 nights ago, but not to worry, we have a new sheriff in town. My new co-host, Gavin, all the way from jolly old England. What's up, Gavin?
Hiya, how are you?
All right, tell the listeners, Gavin, where are you from? Where are you? Where's that cool accent come from?
I'm based in Essex in England. It's just outside of London, about 20 minutes on the train.
Nice. You can follow Gavin on Twitter if you're not already following him, at the UK Raider. He's a writer for the RaiderRamble.com as well, so make sure you check that out. So how's your week been, man?
Yeah, not too bad. I had a accountancy exam.
Nice.
So hopefully that's gone well, but I don't find out for 6 weeks, so let's just hope.
You'll be all right. Hey, watch the Super Bowl. How did you enjoy that?
I mean, it was tough to stay awake because the time difference. But I enjoyed it. I thought that the Eagles deservedly won.
And we're not they're fans of the Patriots anyways, right? So.
Yeah, well, of course not. But at the same time, it's nice to see good football.
Good offensive football, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who would have thought it at the beginning of the year? Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Well, it was a good game, but New England, man, we know what it takes. We've seen other games, what it takes to take Brady down, and it's pressure him from the middle so he doesn't step up. And even though he was sacked only once, I think Philadelphia did a really good job collapsing the middle and hurrying him and hitting him, see through the ball away. Unlike the Raiders game, we gave him the yards, the receivers 10-yard cushions, and didn't have a really good game plan. I think Philadelphia came out with a nice game plan, and they did well in defensive, hurrying Brady. Otherwise, they could have scored 50 points.
I think that their coverage was good as well. They stopped several targets, like your Gronkowski. Usually his numbers are mammoth because of his size and his ability, but they really nullified him, I thought, in the game. Brandon Cooks, he's another one that was nullified, really. Yeah,
he took that vicious hit and he never returned, so that could have been a big change as well. But what was really surprising was Malcolm. What's his name? Not Malcolm Smith.
Butler.
Malcolm Butler. Sorry. Yep. He did not play. He did not play the game, and I thought there had to be something. And then there were rumors that he didn't. He missed curfew. He went off at the coaches, but he came out on Twitter and said those are false, which you'd expect. But the former and current Patriots players, such as Tom Brady, came out and supported him on Instagram or Twitter, wherever he posted it. So that was pretty surprising that he was told he wasn't starting right before the game started, which was pretty odd.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's arguably their best corner.
Yeah.
I've seen, a little bit of him, not too much, because obviously I'm not a Patriots fan, so I don't watch them excessively, but he's the corner for me that stood out for them when I see them play. If I rightly remember, he had a good game against the Raiders, actually. He stopped Crabtree and Cooper.
Don't remind me. We scored eight points against a team that was giving up the most yards in the league, or at least bottom 3 in yards giving up. So that was pretty bad. I'm happy it happened. No more Del Rio because of it. So, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good change for me. I think that Gruden will bring that strong approach. He won't put up with any antics, which is a main thing for me.
Also, our last coaching staff didn't seem to be more very X's and O's based and not exactly game planning properly. not much intellectually going on in there. In the room, it seemed like, but we have a new staff. I'm really excited about the staff. We spoke about the staff in the podcast before, but what do you think of the new staff that we have so far?
To be honest with you, a few of them I've heard of, a few of them I haven't.
Right.
Paul Gunther, he's the new defensive coordinator, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, he's obviously got a fairly good record.
Yeah, he was under Mike Zimmer. Sorry, Mike Zimmer wanted to bring him along with the Vikings, but they have the same philosophy. I mean, he was Mike Zimmer's number 2, and they planned a lot of the blitz packages and a lot of defensive packages together when they came to Cincinnati. So I'm really excited. I think we'll do really well.
And another thing is, has Gunther, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, ever coached a player like Khalil Mack?
No, he hasn't.
You know, like you get a player like that surrounded by a good coordinator with extra added dimensions.
Right.
I mean, you could look at double digit in the 20s sacks for Mack if he gets the right schemes.
Another Defensive Player of the Year award is not far-fetched.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, free agency is coming up. I think March 12th or March 14th is the start of the new league year. There's a lot of guys that's rumored to be, gone, that will not be here. And they're also, I heard Greg Papa and Paul Gutierrez from ESPN talk about a bunch of guys that might be locker room cancers and could be gone. Obviously, we don't know what the real story is behind the scenes, but there are players that we can replace, guys like Crabtree, Sean Smith, Lynch, Cook, Seth Roberts, a bunch of other guys that we can, replace with zero dead money. But I guess the question is, can we replace them and get a better value? You want to go over this?
Well,
tell us the numbers.
The player that stands out for me, a lot of Raider Nation will be jumping on this one as well, is Jarvis Landry from Miami.
Right.
He's not going to command big money. He's obviously going to command more than what he was on in Miami, due to his base salary being $893,000 and a signing bonus of $211,000. But you can offset that. If you get rid of Crabtree, you save $7.7 million with zero dead money. So, in essence, you can bring in still a high quality player, but release another one and get that money back into the team and reinvest it in other areas that strongly need investment.
I'm looking at SpotTrack right now, and they're calculating his market value to be a little under $14 million. Now, does that seem too high for you?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say that's a little too high. He had a good year, but has he done it consistently over 3-4 years? That's the question.
And there's also been some maturity issues. So that's what gets me. Can we have? What would you pay? Would you pay him $10 million?
I'd probably stretch to about the same as Crabtree, maybe if that. I think that there's other options on the unrestricted free agents list that could do just as good a job and not command such a figure.
Right.
If I have a look at some of the other players that I've been taking a look at, there's Taylor Gabriel from the Falcons. He's only 26 years of age, is similar sort of age to Landry, and he's had a good couple of years. He was in the Super Bowl, so there's players out there, but
who I really also like, you can get for cheap, is Marquise Lee from the Jaguars.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player, actually. I remember watching him for the Jaguars.
He has good length. And I know Crabtree has done well, but I just didn't get the feeling that he wants to come back or they want to bring him back. If you listen to the last game versus the Los Angeles Chargers, Rich Gannon, who was the color commentator, kept saying that, if he plays like this, he's not going to come back. And the reason he said that is because he was taking a lot of time off. I mean, a lot of plays off. He would just get himself out of the game, taking too many rests. I don't know if Gruden would put up with that. I
think that his numbers really dropped as well, and his production was mediocre for his sort of standards that he set the year before. I just can't see him being in the silver and black next year. Personally, I think that for the numbers that we could save by releasing him, I think we could get a really suitable replacement and probably still have a little bit of money left over. If not, get someone, as you mentioned, Jarvis Landry, even if it's like 10 million, I suppose.
Right.
You're paying that bit extra, but you're getting someone who's had a good year, been productive.
You know what's interesting? Sammy Watkins' is market value per spot track is only $6 million.
Yeah, I see that actually.
And I would rather have him than an older guy who. And Crabtree is more of a red zone guy now. I mean, he can box out and go for the jump ball, but if he's not in the red zone, he's not doing much.
No, I mean, I've heard and seen rumours that Watkins will stay put, but it depends on the money. If he's with the Rams, is that right?
He's with the Rams, right?
Yeah. If the money's right there, I can't see him moving because they've progressed. But if the money isn't right, then I'd definitely take a look at someone like that. I think he could be explosive. But it depends what schemes that the offensive coordinator and Gruden want to run. To be honest with you, it depends, doesn't it? Really?
It does.
What schemes?
But it mostly looks like a variation of the West Coast offense when you need, there's quick 3-step, 5-step drops. You need the players to separate.
Well. He likes his no huddle offense where everybody's in tune and in sync with what's going on. And every single one of his players should have a football brain and be switched on at all times. And
be really good route runners as well.
Yeah.
Because you need to separate quickly in the West Coast offense.
See, that's the one good thing with Crabtree. He is a good route runner.
Yeah. It's just doesn't have that speed anymore.
Speed, yeah. And he hasn't got that sharpness in the foot.
Right.
To kind of burst.
And it didn't sound like there was, I don't know if you've heard Derek Carr's brother, David Carr's interview, and he didn't really give a glowing recommendation for Crabtree either. He did talk about him taking plays off, so I wonder. I really don't think. I mean, Derek Carr didn't give him a glowing recommendation. Neither did his brother. So I don't. No. I think he's gone. To be honest with you,
I think you can safely say that he will be cut. Personally, okay. I think that he's done well, but in England we say if they don't cut the mustard, then it's time to move on.
Mm. Yeah, there's a few other guys. I said Marquise Lee, Allen Robinson might be a good one as well for cheap.
Yeah, I actually see someone who I actually haven't heard of, but you may know of, a guy called Paul Richardson from Seattle.
Yes, I haven't watched much of him, but I don't know if he'll be. He's a tall, long guy, if I remember correctly. People are throwing his name around, but he's only 25.
I mean, I looked at obviously his age, and I see some of his stats. I haven't got them to hand, but I mean, they made impressive reading, considering Seattle wasn't exactly firing on all cylinders for the season.
And there are options. Don't forget also from the Chiefs, Albert Wilson. Is a good guy.
Could you imagine?
That would be nice.